Welcome all my crafty friends, it's Louise and I'm doing a scrapbook process video today. But before I get into it, I just want to welcome all my new subscribers. I am so grateful that you have chosen to spend some time in YouTube watching what I am creating, and I hope that you get lots of ideas to help you in your crafty space. So today I've got in front of me the Beautiful Gallery paper collection. It's a 6x6 paper pack from Stampin' Up, and they do look like paintings, so you know it's Beautiful Gallery. It does look like they're from a gallery. Okay, so that's what we're going to work on, and the photos I have are from a trip to Singapore last year, and part of it was a tour group that I was part of, and we went just walking around the Chu Chat streets, that area of Singapore, and the beautiful colourful homes and the tiles. And I just often like to just take photos of random things that catch my eye. So I wondered about the colours on the homes, and I asked our tour guide, you know, do the owners choose the colours of their homes? And they don't. The government actually tells them what they can paint their homes, but they're very colourful. And this one caught my eye. Breakfast at Fluffy's Boutique Pet Hotel. Not that I've got a cat, but my son's got 4 cats. And there's a close up of that one. So it was just a little walking tour around the streets. So one of the things that caught my eye were these tiles, and I wanted to bring in the link together masks. So they're a set of 5 masks or stencils, and I had a play around with them, and I thought, oh, that looks like tiles. So here's that's what I do often when I get new products, is I just have a little play around. And this is all the same ink on very vanilla cardstock, and it's Lost Lagoon ink. So this was my sort of inspiration to add stencils to this layout. And also this pattern paper that was a map of streets. So that's why I went with the Beautiful Gallery. So let's move these along. I'm going to use white as my base pages. Now I've chosen a sketch. I often like to find a sketch if I'm not sure what direction I'm going, and I'll put a link to the Creative Design Team's website where you can purchase their, they've got lots of different sketchbooks for 12 by 12 and 6 by 8, and they've even got an 8.5 by 11 as well. So there's all the cutting measurements for everything as well. So going via the sketch, I've got them already matted in white. I have a few changes because I've got some more photos and different sizes. So these larger photos are 5 by 3.5. I sometimes do that. The rest are they're 3 by 3s and these are 3 by 4s. Also in choosing colours, because there's a variety of different colours in these photos, I decided that it was probably not a good idea to try and match up all the photos. And have you ever tried to do that and come up confused about what papers that you want to use? So I just picked out these colours here. So that's Lost Lagoon. That's a very close match to that. So I thought, well, I've got that and my piece of map paper. So that's where I started. Now in the sketch, we've got 3 by 4s down all the way down the bottom. So then it's just a matter of bringing in these pieces and deciding what papers. So I do start out sort of going like this and just laying them down. I got that stencil, I had a play with that, and I just moved everything around. But I wasn't keen on this. At first I thought it needed brightening up with the colours that I've been using, but I decided to use, it's a mint cardstock from my stash, probably from close to my heart, and I used all Lost Lagoon and then had a play around, and I ended up doing it a bit darker and using Shy Shamrock. So I decided that that can go on another project, and I wanted to split up. I thought that that might go well there and there. So I started there, and then I wanted to break up my greens. I tried that and thought it was a bit blah, and then I just kept trying different ones, and I settled on this one because it was a neutral, and I think that my journaling will go in strips here. Okay, so on the sketch then we have we need to mat our photos, and we've got this piece here. There was something else I wanted to bring into this layout, which was the Beautiful Motif dies, because I thought that these would go really nice with the corners of the buildings. It's hard to see on video, but in person, looking at the photos, you can see the artwork in the buildings. So these don't completely cut out, so I'll show you. So here's one I've created, and see how they don't fully cut out. Now I've gone ahead and put some foam tape on the back of those, and I've done some sanding as well. So I thought that this could go over here. Now also I've got to do my Secret C photo mats. So this one I'm going to put, because it's my focal photo, I'm going to put on a larger photo mat. And then these will have slightly smaller photo mats. And I think that helps them pop off that white background. And I think it's one of my favourite colours, the Secret C, because it's not black and it's not blue or green. So I think I'll go ahead. I want to show you how I've done these. So let's move these out of the way. Let's do it around there and see what it looks like. So I'll just pop it on there, put some washi tape to hold it, and I'll run that through my die cut machine. What I'll show you now is my sanding. I'll just move this to the side so I don't have sanding dust. Now I popped my fingers behind to raise it up a little bit, and very gently, because it's delicate. I just got this sanding block from my local hardware store. Any sanding tool, emery board even, is going to do what you want it to do. So we're just revealing the white core of this two-tone cardstock. Also going to distress the whole rest of it and the edges. Okay, and then I'm going to pop some foam underneath it just to give it some lift there. So that's how I created that. Now while I'm here, let's do this stencil. Just some scrap, and I need my piece. I'm going to pop a little bit of tape just to hold this in position. I'm going to use the light side of the two-tone cardstock. Now these masks are really good. They've got this notch and they've got a number. So going to put a notch to help me line it up for the next 3 stencils. Bit of washi tape to also hold the stencil in place. A brush and the Lost Lagoon ink. I'm going to tap off so I don't get a big blob like that, and very lightly starting out with this one. and just take a look underneath to see that it's got the depth of colour that you're looking for. And that's perfect. Then I'm moving on to number 2. Line up the notch. And each layer I will use slightly more ink and a little heavier pressing down. I have more control when I hold the head of my brush. And you can see now that that is looking a little darker. So we're going for a tone on tone for the first 3 stencils. There we have that one. Then we've got number 3. And I think you can see that there's a lot more ink on this 3rd one. And it will lighten as it dries. Then the last one, in my practice I used Lagoon, but it didn't have the pop I really wanted for that centre. So this is number 5. So I'm also making sure that they're sort of in the centre of those as well up here. So, and this is a deeper shade, heavy pressure, and I think it's going to give me the look I want for the final layer. Yes. And these stencils, it's easy just to wash off. And there we have our stencil. And we'll pop that over there. So off camera, I'm going to ink up the edges of my pieces and attach my photos to their photo mats. And I'll think about my title. Back soon. So I've got my title, and that is with the alphabet a la mode dies. I've done it in the Secret C cardstock, and I've cut it twice and glued that together to give it, because they're quite thin. And then for scenes, I cut it out of this pattern paper, and also I cut this piece down here, this little floral. And because I was trying to get a bit of an ombre look. And also I wanted to divide up the Secret C, seeing as we've got the mats there, and bring this pattern paper up to the top of the page and up here too. I have the leaf branch here. These are all from that set that I showed you earlier, the Beautiful Motifs. And I've just popped a small circle behind them so that they had somewhere to rest. And that is the favourite of everybody's Spotlight on Nature dies. I have brought in some older items from my stash. I encourage you to go to your stash. We don't want them there forever. So I've used those to stamp on. I've used this Scenic Adventure stamp to type in stamp adventure. And this from my stash for the memories collected. And that ink is in Secret Sea. And there was something, oh yes, I hadn't told you about this. So that is floral garden or garden foils. And it comes in, that, believe it or not, is supposed to be like a strawberry slush, but it looks quite red, and I thought it helped with some of the red in the photos, and so to tie it all together, up here there's a bit of red, but I didn't want to overpower the layout with that colour. And something else I wanted to add, some of these pressed flower motifs that comes with the suite too, and they're metal, and they've got a pressed, I hope you can see that, flower into it. So I'm just going to pop these into these little holes, well, to cover up the hole. And then add a couple around my embellishments. They're quite small, my clusters today. But I feel that that was enough. My focus was on these pieces here and this. And I don't know, there and a little bit there. I think that's all I will put around. I don't want to overdo it with those. So I hope you've enjoyed this process video today, and if you liked the content and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Until next time, have a great week. Hopefully you can get some crafting done, and I'll see you in my next video.